Okay, so we're live officially now. I am recording. Mic is hot, so please be nice. Hi, welcome in. Good morning. We're going to talk about critiques and exports in the Zoom room. All right, so the biggest thing that I want to you guys to have some time spent doing today are these peer critiques. We tried this system a little bit. Hi, good morning. We tried this system a little bit on the logo project, if I remember correctly. But we're trying it again for this one while I'm still kind of figuring out the best way to go about doing the critique process. But the biggest thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that you should critique your nearby partner first, your table partners, your elbow partners, and then you can go around and move around the room a little bit and just critique the ones that are available. But when I say critiques, I'm going to be saying that a lot today, so just bear with me. It's not trying to totally tell how the other person did theirs totally wrong and it's ugly and it's hideous, right? That's not the point of a critique, right? Excuse me. You should be providing feedback on the things that you can improve or the things that maybe you could try differently in your own work as well as in your other classmates' works, right? It's just the idea of assuming positive intent is the first bullet point that I have here. We mean well. People aren't trying to be mean, and if they are, we'll have a different conversation. But you want to compliment their design, compliment their work, because you know how much work you've done on yours. They've done a similar amount for a totally different animal, so your approaches are different. So you want to compliment their process and also provide feedback. Critiques that are just compliments don't really help people improve their stuff. It makes you feel good, which is also good. But providing that feedback is that crucial part where you see what you could change, see what you could improve upon. And sometimes it's simple as maybe the colors are a little off or, it can be little things. And then I said checklist must be submitted with project 3.1, but then I was talking about this checklist. So if we go to the project page for shape building creatures, I was talking about this checklist, but this was when Mr. Hendricks and I did a different version of this project. So this one is not, this one's not up to date. So I'm actually gonna remove that from the agenda. I'll just be listening and assuming that you guys are critiquing one another as I walk around. Okay, so the biggest thing is just think about how you could improve your own design. Think about how others could make some changes that would benefit the final product. Thinking about like the color, the shape relationships, the accuracy to the animal, all things like that is all going to be part of this kind of critiquing process, right? And then the last thing I'll show you in this Zoom room before we go, this is kind of a different direction, but how to export your final project once again. So they're accepting, or the assignment is accepting both PNGs and JPEGs. And the two biggest things I want to show you is that your color for your shape design is optional, but it is highly encouraged. And including the reference image is also optional, but here, I'll just show you. It'll make more sense if I show you. Okay, so where is your guys' bird example? Here we are. All right, so we have the progress on the animal on the artboard, right, on our 8.5 by 11. But then I have all this other junk off to the side that I was showing you guys off in class. This is cool and all, but I don't want that included in my export. So by default, when you export something, that's taking your raw dough right here and turning it into a baked item, right? Something that can be easily shared and enjoyed. It's only going to take what is on the artboard here inside of this space like this. So let's imagine that I had two creatures, because remember you're required to have two different shaped creatures. So I have two birds. If we want to get crazy, we can flip them. There we go. Two totally different birds. You're going to go up to File and then Export for screens. And it's going to want to take you to this Assets panel if you have something selected. So because I just recently did this transform on my second shape bird, it has this Assets tab lit up in blue. We want the Artboards tab. And you can see it's going to give you a little preview of what you're exporting. If you had multiple artboards, you could check all those off. biggest thing that you're going to want to do is check this folder button right here. When you click on this folder button, it's going to ask you where you want to save the final project. Right now, remember, you can follow your path. OneDrive 2324, Graphics Project 3.1. Check this and make sure that it starts somewhere in your OneDrive so that I know that it's saved somewhere safe in case you ever need to go back and get it. So you just click select folder. I'm going to take this prefix off. And right now, this is not quite Canvas name scheme. So I'm going to show you the quicker way to do that. Once you click, you can check these two boxes if you want. Both, you don't need them necessarily. The biggest thing is checking on this folder button and making sure that it's in somewhere that you know where you can find it. You can leave all this by default. You could, if you really want to add a prefix, you could add like a version number and then the number 1 or a version final if that's something, but we'll get more into that here in a second and later in the class. So you just click on export artboard, and because I had my 2 boxes checked, it's going to open up the folder that I saved it to. It's always going to live inside of this 1x folder right here. So here's my artboard. Because it's a PNG, it's going to be super duper hard to see. There's very, very thin lines there. That is okay if yours looks like this, because when you upload it to Canvas, I can see the whole aspects of them here. But it still says artboard 1 PNG. It's not quite the Canvas naming scheme that we're looking for, right? I'm going to right click on that and rename it. Canvas naming scheme is always going to be your first initial of your first name and then your full last name, like this, and then your period number. So this is P1, followed by an underscore or a hyphen. I like underscores. And then you want to do the name of the project. In this case, it's 3.1. You can just do the number, you can do the name, you can do both, but you need at least the number or the name. And then since this is the version I'm submitting to Canvas, this is my version final. So instead of a version number, you're going to put VF to tell you that it is the final version of this assignment here. And then once you've done all that, hit enter, it'll rename it, and then it's ready to upload to Canvas. So if we go to Canvas, scroll down to the bottom, submit an assignment. Let's see, find my way to my first period graphic design folder. There's project 3.1 in the 1x folder. I have my thing here. It's going to upload. You guys know how to upload, but I'll show you that even if it looks kind of funky in the Windows Explorer preview, it looks correct when you upload it to Canvas. So you do not need to include your images in the export. If you really want to, you can by turning this layer back on and then re-exporting it. So we'll do the same process. And then this one's going to bring the reference image with it. But since your goal is to create these shape creatures, the reference image is not required. Okay, so we need to get more into detail on project completed. I will talk more about what each of these levels mean when I grade them in the comments. And if you have any specific questions, we can meet during Flex, or you can come after school or something like that, and we can chat about it. But going over the rubric one last quick time for this project. The correct file name I have, if you click on long description, it has some examples here with the breakdown with spaces, as well as what it could look like with 2 different versions of 2 different periods. And then if you go into the critique completed, you showed off your design, they showed off their design, and you guys had a little conversation about how it could improve. Does all this make sense? Okay, so the rest of this time is yours to start with the critiques, so you have something to work towards for the rest of the day if you need to make any changes, or if you're ready to submit or get ready to submit by the end of today at midnight, because this is the last in-class workday for the shape building creatures. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, cool. Thank you guys for listening. That's all I needed to show you. One quick announcement. I did just get an email from Miss Walters. The course request process closes on Monday. So let me read this real quick. Course request process closes on Monday. Access your Skyward account and make sure that you can complete the course request process. If you can't access, Miss Walters says to reset your passwords. And she says a lot of people are reporting Skyward issues. So we will cross that bridge when we come to it. But the biggest thing you guys need to know is your course request process, your plans for requesting next year. I don't know if it's your actual schedule, but just the requesting is due by Monday. That's when it closes up. So thank you guys for listening. I'll let you guys get to it.